Okay, so what does our program do currently? It will get a video file that we set. It will then read the frames, play the frames back in a while loop structure. There's two things that we need to be aware of now. One is the while loop that we've created. It's a bit crude. We need to get that looking a little bit better. The second thing is that it's running too quick. Look at the rate. That Ringo's going way too fast. And so we have no idea here with this current program of the frames per second or the frame rate that the video was recorded. Okay, so that program finished, and then essentially we returned no more frames, and it errored out on us. It said, okay, I've finished, and it broke automatically, broke out of that loop. So how do we get this? Well, the while true loop, the true is a bit crude in that it's not talking at all to the video capture object itself. So we can change this now to saying, okay, let's have a look to see if the video capture is open. If it is opened, then it will return true, and then we'll get the video frames and we'll play them. So this is one way. I'm just going to hit Q. This is one way that we can start to get some control or some communication between the video capture object and the while loop. The other thing that we wanted to get a look at is the properties of the video file. So we want some properties. So sorts of things that might be of interest to you and will be of interest to us for our experimental analysis of the behavior is the frame width. And this will be in pixels. We want the frame height, again in pixels. And the third thing that I think would be interested in is the frames per second. And not second, second. And so what we can do is use the OpenCV or CV2 module to get this information from the video capture object itself, which relies on the file. How can we get that? Go to Google and type in, so we'll just type in cv2.capture properties FPS, like that, and it will come up with all of these responses. We're after the documentation from OpenCV. So here we've got the class, the video capture class reference. Now be aware that this is C++ as well as Python in this document. CV2 is also mainly written in C++. But we also have cross-compatibility with Python. So here we go. These are the parameters. So we can get the position of the current video file in milliseconds or the frame. So if we're at 13 seconds, what was the frame? Or if we've stopped at a certain, paused at a certain frame, what is that frame? The ones that we're after is frame width, frame height, and frame FPS. We can also get the total duration of the video file, and that's the frame count. So this is what we want. We want these three here in bold. So let's have a look here. Let's go back to here. We'll bring this back up. So what we want is the video frames per second. Video frames per second equals the video capture object, and we want to get the properties CV2 dot, and it was cap prop FPS. Okay, let's just have a quick look. Cap prop FPS. Yep, that's correct. That's what we're after. And to make sure or to check that this is working, we'll just print this to the screen. So the video FPS is vid FPS. Let's see what we get out. So there's our video here, that's working good, and the video frames per second is 25. And I know that the video camera that I used recorded the video file at 25 frames per second. So now what you could do if you're interested in is you could set a timer up here to say, okay, we know that 1 divided by 25 is going to be the interflip, or the interframe interval, and so therefore you could put a little pause or a little wait function here to wait for the remainder of the time to then lock in the frames per second of the playback. We're not interested in that. What we're interested in is a semi-automatic detection where the user will identify the mouse, click on that mouse, and then advance the frames themselves. This is what I'm interested in. So video, we've got the video frames per second, and the other things that we wanted were the frame width and the frame height. So very similar. There's two ways that we could do this. We could say the frame width equals the object capture dot get, and we want cv2 dot cap prop frame width, and then frame height equals again the vid capture dot get cv2 dot cap prop frame height, and then we could print those out. Or what we could do is put them into a tuple. So frame dimensions equals, we'll go here, get rid of that, put that into here, and then we can then print video dimensions frame dimensions. So here we go, we've got the video file and we're starting to return the properties. So we've got the frame rate and the video dimensions are 640, so this is width and height. So we'll just let the viewer know that. We'll just say, okay, this is width and height. And this is what I recorded at. 640 by 480 at 25 frames per second. So this is good. So this is how we can start to get the parameters of the video file. These are the parameters that you can get. Also of the video that you used, the video device that you used to record it. You can get the brightness and contrast. You can get, and you can also set some of these as well if we're on the other side of the coin, if we're recording video. So we'll stop this video here. We now know how to get the file, create the object, probe the parameters of the object, set the while loop, and then show the, read the image and then show it. And we know how to then control or quit out of that loop. Next, what we're going to do is create the callback and get the mouse position, or in this case, Ringo's position, and control the advancing of the frames per second, because that's what we wanted to do in our experiment. I'll leave it there.